working on it soon. But the argument is that we had the Battle of Armageddon. We fought the Battle of Armageddon in Earth. When we think of the Battle of Armageddon as the final conflict between Christianity as a expression of our collective union, like the real divine truth that underlie every religious tradition. I'm sorry, they all spring from this reality. They're all attempts, culturally specific, geographically fixed, attempts to describe the truth of universal human uh, brotherhood, a God as a universal encompassing that we are components of. That's because that is the deepest expression of what it is to be alive on Earth. Over time, alienation drives us away from one another and buries this reality, but it is the fundamental truth of all religions. And every religious tradition comes from some specific person whose brain had the right structure to receive a signal and transmit it. Not perfectly, because they can't, we're individuals. We cannot hold it all. Even our prophets can't hold it all. So we hold what we can and then we express it. Everyone's trying to do that. All prophets try to do that. How good you are at it is how much you're able to communicate by your presence and the words you choose. Charisma, in other words. A guy like Christ is this charismatic being who looks around his social condition, which is I'm a member of a tribe, the Jews, bound together by a book and a belief in one God. Unlike all the other people around us and who dominate us, who believe that there's basically as many gods as there are peoples, and they all just fight against one another all the time. And the best and the one that's stronger wins. This is the Hobbesian state of nature, the closest we've ever seen, really, and it's expressed in. It's not a Hobbesian state of nature because it's actually a decline from a previous human model of interdependence and spiritual consciousness that declines over time as fixed agricultural society dominates. So you can't really call it a natural state. But Hobbes is describing a certain state. And what that is the being at the ass end of Eurasia, uh, the part where you had a huge early explosion of humanity and then a collapse of the biome. So you got a lot of people living on relatively scarce resources. You're living in fucking river valleys surrounded by deserts, as opposed to the deeper, thicker concentrations of settled peoples farther to the southwest who live among verdant plenty, where you have the development of these overlying relatively cyclically stable political organs like empires, and you have a cyclical relationship to our the essential truth that we hold. We're all going to be living dominated under regimes of alienation. That cannot be helped by an individual, so therefore it must be lived with. And the way you live with it is you grasp that we are all part of one experience, and that whatever we're living in this life is some connection to what we had lived previously, and that our actions on this life will affect where we end up, but none of it is worth sweating because it's all one thing and it will inevitably be knit together. And if it's inevitably knit together, then you really don't have to worry about anything because why are we afraid of dying? We're afraid of an inevitable oblivion. No, inevitable oblivion is experienced subjectively because we can't experience death. It is experienced subjectively as reunion.